with our less transparent brother from another mother in the Midwest, one Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
More or less. So, I guess so. Won't get too far into it, but for a while, about a week, Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren going back and forth about mainly Elizabeth Warren accusing Pete Buttigieg of not being transparent enough about his work history, what he did when he was, a consultant at McKinsey, various things.
Yeah.
One of the things that came up was a list of his donors and his bundlers. So, Mayor Pete publishes on his website, I believe Friday. So going back, that'd be a little under a week ago. Right here on his website, pete2020.org or .com, says the following individuals have raised at least $25,000 for our campaign. And you'll notice as I scroll through, a lot of names on this list. Good for him, right? 25 grand. That's getting.
Notice how much of it is from New York and California.
The coast. Just the coast in general. Massachusetts, Connecticut, D.C., New York,
This guy
Florida,
ain't a
New York,
Midwestern
Florida.
brother. He is a coastal elitist
Wait, hold on.
candidate.
I'm pretty sure.
New Canaan, Connecticut is literally the wealthiest. It is literally the wealthiest zip code in the United States of America is New Canaan, Connecticut.
What I was going to ask you, I hope I'm not showing my American geography skills, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Georgia not Missouri, but Georgia borders the coast, right? I think almost every one of these states is literally on the coast. Illinois, sorry, is the big Midwest people. But yeah, for a Midwest guy.
No, but look, San Francisco, California.
No, but for a Midwest guy, as you point out, I'm just ragging on this list isn't the point, but for a Midwest guy, California, literally on the coast, and then Illinois, Colorado, but California,
Texas,
Oregon.
Virginia, Louisiana, California, New
You
York.
get to this part where it's just New York, Virginia, D.C., California. It's like, that is crazy.
Los Angeles, California, Beverly Hills,
Yeah, so-
Greenwich, New York, Chicago, Brooklyn.
But now, but anyway, I'm not going to clown on the guy for having coastal donors claiming to be from the Midwest, because rich people tend to. You can be from the Midwest and you move to the coast because you're rich. That's not that crazy. What is crazy is, you know what? Maybe we'll give him some slack. Maybe it's difficult to compile a list of names who donate money to you. I don't know. Could be hard, I guess.
No, it's an Excel spreadsheet that takes 2 seconds.
It appears that the Buttigieg campaign omitted high-powered bundlers from the disclosure. So, weird story, but I'll kind of try to break it down for you guys. Basically, what I'm understanding this is happening is the list that I just showed you guys on his website is what he published on his website right there publicly. Now, Politico claiming they obtained a basically internal campaign fundraising report, they call it, but basically kind of a, hey, here's a list of all of our big donors that donated more than $25,000. So Politico took a look at the two lists, and they found that these 30 individuals and couples didn't appear on the list. Just to show you guys what that looks like, somehow they forgot roughly, 20 people and couples. I apologize, 20, but this would still make up like roughly a fifth of the total list he published weren't on there. Some of these people, by the way, we'll go up and show you guys, you might have seen already. People like, there we go.
Uber wealthy supporters such as Boston power broker Jack Connors Jr.
Jordan Horowitz, who
and
produced
Hollywood
La La Land
producer
years ago.
Jordan Horowitz.
Yes.
And the hedge fund investor John Petrie. I mean,
Oh, sorry. And
do you think these guys were excluded because in the beginning they're like, look, we don't want our name on these lists,
Well,
and Buttigieg just did it because rich people don't donate, they just buy things.
So it appears Politico consulted when they were writing this piece an individual who is with an organization called Revolving Door, and they look for, mostly it looks like they look for corruption, I think, in like appointees for executive branch, but for whatever reason.
This is a little bit of a scathing review right
But I think
there.
what I'm trying to say, for whatever reason, this guy is really interested in Pete Buttigieg as well, so take it with a grain of salt. But the idea here, he says, producing data 4 days after they were asked for it with obvious omissions, that is sketchy. The first time I saw the list, I said, there's no way this is comprehensive. It's just kind of mind-blowing they would be this dishonest. It does almost sound like if that is roughly more or less what happened, that, the Buttigieg campaign reached out to their donors and said, we're making a list. Would you like to be omitted, right? Because when they were doing internal campaign fundraising stuff, because, for example, it makes sense to me when you're trying to circulate documents internally to gin people up to donate. You'd say, hey, this hedge fund manager, this famous producer, they're maxed, they're 25 grand. Why, join the club kind of stuff. But then the flip side of it is an internal fundraising document. In an internal fundraising document, you can kind of lie about who donated.
You can.
But when you're trying to be transparent and be able to have checked on this stuff, you might have to do it. So I'm just saying, because like you said, this guy is obviously not a fan of Pete Buttigieg. So it is possible that when they're passing around an internal document that's basically saying that when you're referring to people that are in your investor circle, you might want to add a couple names that maybe aren't actually in the investor circle because it helps. Like people like rich, wealthy, influential people. This guy's powerful and influential and he's in this club. Why don't you want to be in it kind of thing?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is still a scummy tactic because he's lying to his own supporters. He's basically defrauding his own supporters to get their money. So both of them are bad. I'm just saying it's possible he omitted these people because technically it'd be a lie to say they actually have raised this money for him. That's a possibility.
I'm baffled by Mayor Pete and his consistent problems with accusations of not being transparent and being Wall Street Pete. And like, first off, fine if you're Wall Street Pete, and fine if that sector of the American economy likes you, wants to donate a ton, right? And I get why a lot of the progressives and why some people on the left don't like this concept of mega donors because they feel that it just perpetuates a society in which the wealthy have more influence than the average citizen.
You have wine cave pictures.
Yeah, I understand all that. And by the way, Al Capone, when he was very, very first accused of having killed a government official. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at the interview. It was the most gutsy thing I've ever seen in my life. He literally comes out and he said, "Why would I kill a guy that's on my payroll working for me?"
It's a good argument.
You know, it's a great argument. And literally, he walked out of the press conference where there was police there, having admitted to bribery of a public official, and nobody arrested him because the argument just made so much sense.
Yeah, cheaper to buy him.
Yeah, when you're accused of murder, you'd say, why would I murder somebody who was working for me and I was bribing? So,
well, also at the same time, though, there's also that's a great motive, actually.
Yeah, well, okay, I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, he walked scot-free with police present out of that press conference, right?
Point being.
So, yeah, the point being, like even Donald Trump says, look, I'm really, really rich and I'm a business guy. And yes, I give to Hillary Clinton, because I know how the corrupt system works and I'm going to fix it, right? Like, why not just admit, look, the wealthy elites love me and politics costs money. So I can't turn down something that's going to help me. However, I don't want to be non-transparent, and I am a liberal that believes in, showing where the money goes and letting my constituents see that we're not doing anything improper with it. So here's the actual full and proper list, or here's whatever list I'm legally required to give away. Like, that's not hard to do, and basic treasurers hired by these political firms that only cost hundreds of months can do that for you.
Worth noting, Joe Biden has not done it. The only reason Buttigieg actually released his donors like this is because he was receiving a lot of pressure from Elizabeth Warren. And like I said,
also nobody takes Joe Biden seriously, and he's raised less money than Buttigieg.
It's just funny, but it's also possible though. Like I said, I'm just saying it's possible that those people actually didn't raise that money for him, and he was just claiming them in his internal fluffed up marketing material. But then when it's actually providing documents, he won't show them. But another article came across that I wanted to show you guys.
Okay,
that kind of interested me. Now, a little bit of this, a little bit of hit piece. Some of the stuff I'm looking at kind of like, meh. However, worth noting, so Pete Buttigieg's 2011 donor showed the Obama establishment was grooming him from the beginning.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Well, that is, but some of the facts in here are interesting. So according to Buttigieg's donor records first obtained by the Center for Public Integrity and the Young Turks, Buttigieg received $16,000 from the Feldman Group run by veteran Democratic pollster Dianne Feldman during his 2011 mayoral campaign. Feldman had done polling for both Hillary Clinton and Obama's presidential campaigns, along with polling and consulting for the DNC and gubernatorial and congressional candidates. One case they make very strong in this article, not necessarily it was Obama people. However, DC money had been going into 2011. Who knew who Pete Buttigieg was? You know what I mean? Like this was. Now, some of the stuff they go, like, for example, this guy, Anish Raman, who was a CNN war reporter and moved over to writing speeches for Obama, he donated $500 to Buttigieg. The two men came from, they were friends, I guess, at Harvard is what they bring up here. That I kind of go like a little bit, Some of this is interesting, though, because other members of the Obama-era Democratic establishment, which I think, by the way, this is the key words, Democratic establishment, who supported Buttigieg going way back, was Woodrow Myers, a former Indiana health commissioner. He donated $1,500. Chris Hughes, who co-founded Facebook and then worked on Obama's 2008 campaign, donated $1,000.
Interesting.
After that, it gets down. Like, for example, someone like Theodore Johnson, who worked for Obama's super PAC, donated $250. People donate $100. However, these are all Obama-connected people, which to me isn't that interesting. But what's more interesting is these are all people who are kind of DC insider types that were giving money to a little-known mayor running in 2011 for South Bend, Indiana. I mean, I think we looked at the votes, and it's like he obtained like
Is he like one of those skull and bones people from Yale or Harvard? No, he went to Harvard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or did he go to Yale? He must have been in one of those clubs.
I'm sure Harvard helped. I'm sure Harvard helped big time.
Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting about this is the idea that, like I said,
yeah, did he have to lay in the coffin and confess all of his sexual sins or whatever the ritual is that they have to do in that secret society?
I haven't seen, but I believe $16,000 from one source's campaign donation is like more than $1 per vote. You know what I mean? Like when you think about like that sense, like most candidates aren't raising money like that for a mayor race because that's one person. He was probably out there with like considerably more raised money. Because he received like 12,000 votes total on the thing. Point being, it was a small race. You know what I mean? Probably still takes about 6 figures to win that race. Probably even more.
Yeah.
Still just very, very.
Those two cities are similar in size to ours.
The only reason I wanted to bring that up though is because, like I said, it's kind of a hit piece against the guy, just saying like you took money from people that gave money to Hillary Clinton and Obama. It's like, well, they're Democrats, right? But the longer this goes on, the more people keep asking the same question to me, and it's kind of a good question. Why is Mayor Pete the one who gets all the support? Why is it him? They mentioned in this article you kind of brought up the money he's raised so far. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, Buttigieg just combined the power of low dollar online fundraising and big events with wealthy supporters to become one of the most successful fundraisers in the Democratic field. He raised $51 million in his bid for president as of September 30th. He raised a lot more since then in his Crystal Wine Cave fundraisers. The most recent fundraising deadline with 47% of the contributions coming from donors who gave less than $200. That is the thing about the Mayor Pete experience that I wonder about moving forward. How long can you continue that coalition of pretending, not even pretending, but getting these people that are giving you small donors? He was been on record referring to small donors as pocket change like 5-6 months ago. Like this is something recent he said.
Oh, brutal.
As he's ran, right?
Brutal.
On top of that, we're seeing he's somehow trying to court the pocket change while also going out there and finding people that are going to be, billionaires to give him tons of money. It's really, really weird. I think it's catching up with him right now is what we're seeing, I guess. I keep hearing stories about Pete Buttigieg and the money, and like I said, Joe Biden no one's pressuring Joe Biden to turn over his big bundlers. People probably want to know, but it's not like a national discussion.
Here's the deal.
Pete was really under attack for this, and I think for good reason. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Joe Biden's not professing to be further left than anybody on stage. He's not professing to be intersectional or progressive or any of that.
Well, neither really is
Buttigieg. So he's not really going to be drawing fire. And by the way, I actually respect the fundraising power of Pete Buttigieg. It's actually one of the few things I think that what I look for in a president. Unfortunately, now we have a system where you got to go out and fundraise. And okay, cool, I get that. He
was just kind of like ordained going back 8 years ago. Like I don't respect the guy for just being able to get money because he's like for whatever reason they tabbed him. So one thing I do take from this article, why were a bunch of DC people that have nothing to do with this area just jumping in and giving him thousands of dollars to run for mayor? Why? It doesn't make any.
That could be academic connections.
It could be, but my point being is, yes, he's been one of them the whole time. That's why he raises the money. It's not like he does anything interesting.
It calls into question.
He's been one of them.
It calls into question the authenticity of his good old boy Mayor Pete. His aw shucks, I'm just the mayor from South Bend that gave up a lucrative private career because I didn't want to see my city go down the tubes, and it was going down the tubes. He markets himself kind of as this good-hearted person that decided to teach in the inner city instead of, becoming a Wall Street millionaire because he believed in the kids. You know what I'm saying? But when you start following the money, you start seeing all of these donations from coastal elites from the very beginning, and it makes people start to question, wait a second, were you really doing this because you love South Bend? Or were you doing it because you were approached by a bunch of DNC establishment people that said, hey, we think you got a future in politics. You got to run for mayor first.
Yeah, well,
here's your down payment for running for mayor.
But I want to show you something else. So this is just one data point, but it's one data point to reinforce something that is pretty obvious at this point. It's from our friend over on Twitter, Pirates and Polls, David. Anyway, so here's the poll breakdown. It was a recent Economist YouGov poll, right? Okay. Now, all I want to highlight to you guys is that Pete Buttigieg is at 7% and John Delaney's at 1%.
All right.
So,
My man Delaney.
I guess it's a surge for Delaney. But again, so of Buttigieg's 7%, Dave went through here. He took a look at the percentage of kind of weighting the vote tallies for various non-white voter groups, right?
Okay.
You'll notice that Pete Buttigieg, overall, across all demographics, performs worse than John Delaney. So you have to imagine, if Pete Buttigieg is not polling at a functional 0, with, by the way, not like any particular group, just any group that is not white people. If he's not polling at functionally 0, you have to wonder if maybe he wouldn't be at 7% in these polls. He'd be doing a little better. Like clearly there's a lot of things holding the Pete Buttigieg campaign back. So it is weird to me, the fact that, like, now it is worth noting that John Delaney, who by the way had very few votes, which is probably why he had 0, but the Hispanic communities voted more towards John Delaney in this one poll than every minority community combined with Pete Buttigieg. The only reason I want to show that disparity is because this is an issue Pete's been facing forever. I mean, they even mentioned I believe in this first Politico article I brought up, that he basically is polling at 0% among, I think it is in Carolina and another state. I mean, it's really, really, really bad for him in some of these demographics, which is weird because it seems like no matter what the numbers say, there's just money that comes into Mayor Pete. You know what I mean? Like, you would think there'd be some people kind of being like, nah, I don't think this is working. I don't think we're going to be able to, like, the push isn't working. It's not getting over. Let's find someone else. Like, you'd think that would eventually happen, but I don't know, man. He keeps doing weird stuff, like omitting names off donor lists. Like, first of all, you say, oh, we're going to be transparent and donate it. Like, dude, what the? If the following individuals have raised at least $25,000 for our campaign. Bunch of names. Like, what is this crap, dude? What does this even mean?
Well, also, it makes you wonder, okay, more like, than $25K, that could be $5 million.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They could bundle $10 million.
It doesn't come across as really transparent. And also, I look at this and I think, if you're going to release a list with the name of all your donors and say the threshold's high above $25,000, what is wrong with simply just saying, okay, this guy raised me $42,000. This one raised me $26,000. This one raised me $1.2 million. I don't know. Like, I don't see something wrong with going more transparent. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I just feel like maybe more transparent as much as like this looks like you know when like you asked like when the federal government is like forced to release data, so they just make it as like annoying and unappealing and confusing and awful to go through as possible, and there's like deal with it. Like, we technically released it. So this feels like just one page on his website. I don't know how you'd even find it. Oh, I love it. I'll show you guys this too. There isn't even actually a I would tell you guys where to go for on peteofamerica.com, but it's just a random string of characters. Like, if this feels like when the government doesn't actually want to show you the thing they're supposed to show you, like, fine, we'll put this stupid page on a website that's got nothing on it, no pictures, tiny font. All it says is the following individuals and raised at least $25,000 with their names. What does this mean beyond that? Go kick sand. I don't know, man. It's
Wendy Wanderman from Santa Monica, California.
No interest outing individuals, because if you want to donate money to Pete Buttigieg, go ahead. Actually, I wonder how. Technically speaking, there's no proof that people donate any of their own money anyway. They could have just gone out and bundle it. Most of the time, if you're bundling, you're donating something anyway. But I don't know. I just want to talk a little bit more about that because Pete Buttigieg and the money.
No, there's just some great alliterations here. We got like Ruben Rodriguez.
Yeah, but
that's a good one.
Yeah, but
like there's some just really cool names on this list, man.
I guess, but I don't know.
I love alliteration names. They draw my eye. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's just there's not too much more to talk about here. It's just Pete Buttigieg, the Mayor Pete 2020 experience is getting dumber and dumber by the day, I guess is what I want to say. By the day, it's getting stupider and stupider. This is my latest favorite one, though. Because I believe their official statement is, I don't know how I slipped on this. Here we go. I just love reading crap from government officials like this. In creating this updated list, we went through to recalculate totals from the earlier list to make sure we were being accurate. Oh, thank you for doing this for us. Chris Meager said in a statement, some people who had previously disclosed in a document to donors were inadvertently not listed again in the disclosure Friday, Meager continued.
Huh.
Whoops.
Inadvertently.
Oops, my bad. But critics who've already been aware, and we got into this, but like, what is this? I don't know. I love reading crap from government people types like, oh, we recalculated our numbers to make sure we were accurate. Like, oh, cool. I really appreciate you didn't recalculate your numbers to make sure they were right before you told me. I remember in 8th grade they said double check your work. You know what I mean? But apparently when you're running a presidential campaign, you don't have to double check your work. You can do it later. It's like
I don't trust
it's like
people.
News organizations. You're gonna double check anything. Publish it if it's wrong. We'll change it, I guess. I don't know.
I have to tell you, I do not. I have lost trust in the Pete Buttigieg campaign, and this has been mishandled. What's next?
When did you trust the Pete Buttigieg campaign?
Actually, I gave him a lot of leeway. Because he's a veteran and he went to speak 7 languages. That's difficult, and it shows a lot of perseverance. And usually, people that have perseverance aren't notoriously dishonest and so on and so forth. Mark, you already dogged my 18,000 observation, and now you're calling me a Mark. Let's go to the next topic.
Hey,
let's go to the next topic.
Because you felt that way, that is the skill Pete Buttigieg has when he gets all the money. It's because people like you are like, I don't know, man.
Well, look, I generally trust people until they give me a reason not to, and these transparency issues have given me a reason not to. I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I generally trust them until they give me a reason not to. If you want to contribute to the channel, make sure you check out the PayPal link in the description. Make sure you check us out on problemsolverpolitics.com if you want to pick up one of the cool hats. Also, leave us a voicemail at 1-833-PSP-RADIO. We love doing our voicemails on the live streams that we generally do Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're definitely going to have a much better set schedule by Jan 1, 2020. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is Problem Solver Politics, and we'll see you guys in the next video.